Today I'm enjoying an antique afternoon in Arundel, West Sussex. Every view of the town is dominated by the castle, the second largest in England and built at the end of the 11th century by Roger de Montgomery, Earl of Arundel. When the castle was first built it was made of wood, but the building we see now owes much to the 15th Duke and a restoration project which he undertook that was completed in 1900. The town itself nestles snugly at the foot of the castle. The buildings are a fascinating mixture of old and new, with plenty of attractive facades and fine Georgian houses. The High Street is said to be the steepest in England, a fact I can certainly confirm. Every third Saturday of the month there is a farmers' market spread across 3 sites in the town. Farmers from across the south of England bring delicious produce and encourage you to taste before you buy. My best purchase was some oak smoked cherry tomatoes from the Isle of Wight. Arundel was once a thriving port. With the advent of the railway, however, ships docked at Littlehampton, leaving the River Arun to become a haven for wildlife as it winds its way around the town.
Welcome to the Farmers Market, the first one of this year. Come and buy your local produce. Have a nice day.
My first stop was to see Chris Nichols in his camera shop in Arundel Antique and Collectors Centre on the High Street. So how long have you been here?
Here about 15 years, I suppose, yes.
And what would you say in all these cameras here is the most interesting one that you've got on display?
Well, I suppose this one here is. It's an Ernemann camera made in Germany. It's made for the tropics because it's made in teak rather than in mahogany.
And why would that be?
So that it stood up to the climatic conditions in Africa. I was stripping it down to repair it, and inside is a roller blind shutter. And as I unravelled the top blind, wrapped around it and coming out with it was this East African 100 shilling East African currency board note. Why it was in there and round the shutter, I don't know. Was somebody trying to keep it from his wife or smuggle it over the border? I wouldn't know. But it was preserved very well because they tend to rot in East Africa.
Yeah.
And that's in very good condition.
And what is this frame that the note's
Well,
in?
the frame is one that I restore. They're the old plate holders that used to fit in the back of the mahogany cameras and hold the glass plates you take your photographs on. And because they were used to take a photograph, they lend themselves nicely for displaying pictures.
Oh, that's lovely.
And they are double-sided, so you can close one up, turn it over, and you've got another picture the other side, and the door folds around the back and forms the stand.
That is brilliant.
So it's given them a new lease of life.
It certainly has, hasn't it? And people see them
Yes.
more. So, your customers, what are they interested in?
Well, there are 3 types of customer. Those who want a decorative item, they will buy a mahogany and brass camera like this
Somebody
here.
who buys one of these is not going to be using it.
Well, some want to use them and they can use them because when I restore them I make sure they work perfectly well. Then there are the collectors who collect lots of cameras. They may be one make of camera or it could be a different style of camera. And then there are the people who want to use the older classic cameras of the 1950s, 1960s, which was probably the best period with regard to construction of miniature cameras.
And what about you? What camera do you use?
I very rarely take any photographs these days. I'm too busy restoring the older ones, yes. Yeah.
And do you have anything else here apart from cameras? Did I see somebody with some binoculars?
Yes, I've got binoculars there over there. Mainly old binoculars and collectible glasses, and of course the Zeiss glasses, which are also very usable today and compare very favourably with modern glasses.
And finally, Chris, what's the most expensive thing you think you've got here?
It is probably this camera here, which is 900 odd.
Chris, thank you very much for showing us around your collection. It's been very interesting.
Not at all, it's been a pleasure.
After a jolly good rummage around the kitchenalia in the antique market at the bottom of the High Street, I visited Ian and Christina Fenwick at Antiquities on Tarrant Street. Their shop is a wonderful mixture of styles and periods. I'll leave it to Ian to explain the ideas behind it.
I think the thing is that nowadays people want to have a lighter look in their homes, and it's very nice if you can have, inherited furniture, lots of very, expensive pieces that all are absolutely pristine and as they should be, and pure antiques. But nowadays, a lot of people either can't afford that, or it's not how they want to live. So what I think they do now is try and pick odd pieces that will fit in and create a blend of antique and contemporary. And it's easier then to create your own individual look. It's a bit like some of the makeover programs we've done on the television. What they've actually done is create a market then for people to be a bit more inventive, and we try and lead them in that direction by, say, what we do in the shop here. We have painted, we have different woods, we have light woods, dark woods, pine, sort of antique accessories and the flowers that we do. And the whole thing.
These flowers are lovely.
Yeah, we've got a florist who does them just for us, and she goes out and sees how they grow in the wild.
Well, hold on a sec, Ian. They're not real. Are they real?
Well, no, they're not real, but they're wonderful, and they're wonderfully produced. And as I say, she puts different stems in. But we had a problem with one lady actually, who her cleaner actually watered them. So the only problem we've had was when we had to get the whole thing repotted because we found that they're all soggy in the bottom.
So none of the flowers in this shop are real?
No. We started off just having them as decoration, but actually what happened was people wanted to buy them, so we've sold a lot of them. We just get different containers and different ones done at various times.
They show the pots off so lovely.
Yeah, and again, it follows through into what we try and do with the shop. We're not trying to make it, so formal and sort of so stuffy, if you like, and creates a softer look. And then it sets off the furniture, and you may well sell the piece of furniture that the flowers are on, which is really good.
And what about the furniture? For example, this. Is this an armoire?
Yeah, this is a French armoire, 19th century, but originally it would have had solid panels in the door, and it wouldn't have actually been glazed. But because they're shallow, they really haven't got much use in modern day living. They would have had rails in, and their clothes would have been hung in, they're all pegs in them. But they're too shallow now for the sort of
wardrobe.
Yeah, the regular sort of coat hanger type thing. So what we've done is take the panel out and glaze it and put shelves in. So now it can be a bookcase, a display cabinet. It's a bit like reinventing, in some ways, something that otherwise might be practically useless, but it's still a beautiful piece of furniture, and giving it another life. It's a bit like, if you're repairing your house or something like that, you have to do the repair, and you try and keep it as true to its original, but actually if something works better in a different way, you try and just adapt it and make it work like that.
Like if you had a cellar in your house, for example, maybe it was used for the wine or something,
yeah.
And now you might use it for a games room, maybe you don't have
That's
300 bottles of wine.
That's right, yeah. I mean, if you're fortunate with 300 bottles of wine, great, but I mean, if you're anything like me, I never keep it that long.
2 bottles and it's a party.
That's right, yeah. And most people who come get through them quicker than that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's where we do pond boats, we do, commode chests with marble tops, a lot of 19th century mirrors, and lighting chandeliers.
Lovely chandeliers. I think you told me something about the chandeliers, how you can tell if it's a really good one, something to do with the shape of the glass.
Yeah, some of the crystals are, for instance, some of the bank chandeliers, if the crystals are cut on one side, then they're not as good a quality as if they're cut on all the way around, so on the little balls on the chandeliers and things like that.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the cut of them, the design of them, the weight of the crystal. Some are cut glass, some are crystal, and the whole thing, just is on the overall look. Some are beaded, which is very nice because then when they're illuminated, the light sort of reflects back up the arms of the chandeliers. And we get most of those from France. We mix here English and French antiques because, again, the French will dress up the English, or the English might bring, in some instances, a sort of more sobering look to the French, and the whole thing looks
so it's
much
really,
more...
it's antiques meet interior design.
That's right, yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I think that, people want to create their own look, and there's nothing wrong with mixing things up, and maybe having 1 or 2 accent pieces, because a lot of youngsters certainly, or people who are just setting up home, can't afford lots and lots of antiques. So it creates a nice atmosphere. They can buy 1 or 2 pieces, and they can build on that. I mean, we often get youngsters come in and they come in and you think, you know, sort of, are they really interested in the stuff that's in here, or just been dragged around by their parents or something like that, or just bored coming out of the cold? But actually, they are really interested, and that way you can lead people to think, well, I can buy this small thing here, and you can always trade it through. Another thing about antiques, certainly that we have, we can't always buy the item back. We'll always give people a credit for what they paid for it against something else in the future. And you know, the whole thing is about creating a market that goes both ways. It's got to give something back to the customer, and not just you know, sort of be stuffy, if you like, as it used to be in the past.
That's something that we've heard of a lot in Arundel today. And so, finally, how do you find trading in Arundel? It's a good place to trade, is it?
Well, we've been here 15 years, and we've just opened another shop. Actually, in that shop, we've just done a lighter look, which actually doesn't compromise what we sell in this shop, but it actually has a lot of modern lighting and painted pieces, and we can take orders for some of that, whereas in this shop we keep it all antique. We have the flowers, yes, and odd accessories here, but basically this is all antique, whereas the other one is a mix, and hopefully that's what people want to put in their homes.
Ian, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.